from Department of Management Studies. I welcome you all to today's Retailing Management online class. So I would like to remind you that we are learning chapter number 8 from unit 3. From unit 3 we have made a beginning to the elements of retail mix, and if you can recall in unit 3 chapter number 7, so we considered the first element of retail mix, location, where the store will be opened. So I would also like to remind you that the retail mix elements that we are learning is about a brick and mortar retailers, BRICK, brick, MORTAR, mortar. Brick and mortar retailers means those retail chains which operate with the physical stores or whose major revenues come from physical stores like Walmart, or Reliance Retail or Aditya Birla Retail, for example. So let me take a quick review of what we were discussing, and then I will continue with the class. So I will be presenting the screen now. Okay, so students, can you see the PowerPoint slides?
Yes, sir, we can see.
Yes, thank you so much. So please remember, in chapter number 7 we considered the types of locations available for a retailer. So in what kind of a location a retailer can open its store, and those were like freestanding locations. The first one, away from the city, away from other competitors like Reliance Market, example I give. Or in developed nations generally the category specialists open their store slightly away from the city, 5 to 10 kilometer max, not too far. Then inner city locations. So inner city locations, one is central business district, the traditional market area, or the other one is inner city location, that is the residential area where people live in houses and apartments. And the third type of location is shopping center. Like in Hubballi, Urban Voices Mall, I gave you the example, and you also might have visited different shopping centers. And I also showed you the video of the Great India Place in NCR, National Capital Region, Delhi. So those three options from which a retailer can choose, we consider. In chapter number 8 we are going to consider the retail site locations, means a specific site. So in the layman language we call it a 30-40 site for a house. Definitely it will have a survey number, I hope you know, and a proper address. Similarly, for a retail store, a firm needs to select a site, and while selecting such a site to construct a store or to start a store, the retail firm not only evaluates the site, but it also evaluates the location surrounding that site. So in chapter number 8 we are going to learn how a retail firm evaluates the specific site for the store as well as the location or area surrounding that site. It is important because please remember, it is one of the retail mix element which is difficult to reverse. Once a company purchases land, then they construct a retail store or they take it on a lease basis. It is difficult to relocate the store. Okay, so it would cost the company a lot. Okay, so that is the reason why retail location, okay, decision is one of the most important decisions, and it is difficult to reverse easily. Not easy to reverse the decision. It means it is very difficult to change the location of the store for a company. It will be very expensive. And second important reason, okay, is 80% of the sales for a physical store comes from its surrounding area, which is referred as catchment area. Okay. So in this background, let me give you a recap of what we have already been discussing. So evaluating specific areas for locations. So I have discussed, I have explained you all these points. Economic conditions, you can recall the map. Then competition in the surrounding area, strategic fit with the target market. So you can again recall this image. I located the site of more supermarket in Saptapur, Haryad Road, Dharwad. Okay, on Google Map, and the same screenshot I shared with you. Okay, so operating costs also has been discussed, because operating cost vary for a site. Cost of the site varies from area to area within a same city. For example, if you want to buy some site or land in a market area, definitely even a small land will be quite expensive. Okay, but if you want to buy land in a residential area, compared to market area, it will be less expensive. Okay, so please recall. And if you want to buy a land or a site outside the city, cheapest. Okay, it will be most economical. So we have discussed these parts. So now from here I am supposed to continue. Okay. So that is the number of stores in an area. Software operating costs, these are the 4 factors which are considered in evaluating site locations. So there are some other factors also which a retail firm needs to consider. So one among them is number of stores in an area. Okay. So first the company selects an area to locate the store. So definitely, so the area, for example, maybe it is a freestanding location or inner city location, in that again residential area or central business district or a shopping center. So after selecting a location, the company needs to select a site. Okay. So now we are talking about the area surrounding the site. So one decision the company needs to consider is how many stores to operate in the area. Okay. See, for example, a retailer like Walmart, okay, generally opens, okay, many stores, okay, within a shorter distance, within a same area. I repeat, company like Walmart, okay, in United States of America, they open many Walmart stores within the same area at a shorter distance. Okay. So what are the advantages, okay, for Walmart? Okay, the transportation and logistics costs are minimal. Okay, please try to understand, in the supply chain of any company, in general it is across the industries, the logistics costs amount to up to 30 to 35% of the total costs of the company. Okay, that is the reason why one of the decisions or strategies always considered important by a company is reducing the logistics cost or reducing the supply chain costs. So by opening many stores in the same area, Walmart reduces the logistics or supply chain costs to a greater extent. Say for example, one truck with a full truckload of merchandise leaves distribution center of Walmart, which is going to supply the orders of all the Walmart retail stores. Since the Walmart retail stores are in cluster, okay, there are many stores within the same area, the truck has to travel a very shorter distance to unload all the merchandise, okay, from the truck. So the truck covers a very shorter distance, thereby saving the fuel and transportation costs. This is one simple example. Then areas in bigger cities. Okay. So when I gave you the example of Walmart, okay, that Walmart opens many stores in the same area, definitely that is applicable to bigger cities. Okay, like New York, for example, Washington DC, for example, California, San Francisco. Okay, so I am talking about bigger cities. So in India, Delhi, for example, the 4 metros, Mumbai, Kolkata, and Chennai are bigger cities, and even state capitals like Bengaluru or bigger cities. The company will have the, okay, it is feasible for a company to open multiple stores in the surrounding same area. Okay, when we say same area, definitely not next to each other. That you need to understand. Okay, then the $1 million question is, if okay, a company wants to open, a retailer wants to open multiple stores in the same area, how many stores are ideal? Okay, so how many stores are ideal? Okay, if the number of stores are going to be lesser than the ideal, then the supply chain costs will not decrease significantly. But if the number of stores are going to, okay, increase beyond the ideal, okay, number of stores, then it leads to sales cannibalization. So I'll explain what is it. Okay, so if a company opens fewer stores in the same area, the operating costs cannot be lowered. Okay, the logistics or supply chain costs cannot be lowered. A certain number of stores are required to lower the operating costs or to lower the logistics costs. But definitely that number is not known to anybody. Okay, how many stores are ideal in a given area? So if the company wants to lower the logistics costs or operating costs, they need to increase the number of stores. But one danger or one problem is, if the number of stores are increased beyond the ideal number, it leads to sales cannibalization. Means one store eats away the sales of another store. That is referred to as sales cannibalization. And definitely again the average sales of each store will be lower, and again, okay, the cost will not be lower. So this is a $1 million question for a retailer: how many stores to open in the same area if the company is planning to open multiple stores. So definitely, okay, there will be managers who are assigned with these tasks to decide how many stores to open in an area. Okay, they consider the number of stores, and then they evaluate the operating costs, and they go on calculate increasing the number of stores, and they see till what point in a graph, till what point the operating costs go on decreasing, okay, like this, and beyond a point the operating costs increase. So the point from where the operating costs start increasing, okay, is the ideal number of stores. Okay, so they use graphs, they use statistical tools, they use MDSS, management decision support system. Okay, they feed the data and they get the results. But on that results, okay, the human intervention, the managerial decision is ultimate. Okay. Then evaluating a site for locating a retail store. So here now we are going to consider the specific site. Okay, like in layman's language, for a house construction, the way we consider 30-40 site or 40-60 site, same way the retailer needs a specific site or land for constructing or starting a retail store. So we are going to consider that site now. How a retailer evaluates a site for locating a retail store. So when evaluating and selecting a specific site, retailers consider the characteristics of the site, the characteristics of the trading area. Trading area is nothing but the area surrounding the site. Okay, the estimated potential sales that can be generated by opening the store in that area or site. So the same will be considered in detail in next slides. So the first point was site characteristics. Okay. So these are the factors that are considered in evaluating the specific site or the land for the store. So what are they? The one is the traffic flow and accessibility related factors, and others are restriction related factors. Third are location characteristics, and fourth are costs for opening that store in the specific site or area. Okay, so like when we consider traffic flow and accessibility, the vehicular traffic, ease of vehicular access to major highways, street congestion, pedestrian traffic, and availability of mass transit are taken into account. It means the place should be crowded, okay, and the store should be easily accessible, okay, to the customers. Okay, if you open a store in a road, okay, which is most of the time empty, definitely you won't get sufficient customers into your store. Then restrictions you need to consider, like the zoning, if the area is zoned or categorized into for specific purpose or reason, then signage is to be put out. Restrictions on tenant mix, okay, so what kind of businesses can be opened, okay, in that specific area. Then safety code restrictions to be followed, okay. So in each country, okay, so these restrictions will be there, okay. So depending on the maturity of the people or development of level of the country, okay, they are adhered. In developed nations, yes, definitely these are very business and people are aware about these things, okay, and they are rigidly followed, okay, at least up to 90 to 95%. Okay. Then when we say access to major highways, for example, okay, if you remember the Great India Place, okay, so India's biggest shopping center, okay, so it is easily accessible from the highway. Then location characteristics, like whether like parking space, availability of parking space. If sufficient parking space is not available, customers may not, okay, get into that store, because it will be very difficult for them to find a space for the vehicle to park. So this problem arises where more number of cars, okay, where more number of customers come by cars. This problem arises there. And access to store entrance and exit, it should be easy entry, easy exit. Visibility of store from the street, very important. So any of you want to start a store, please remember, if your store is not easily visible from the street, okay, simply customers will not get into your store, okay. Access to delivery, size and shape of store, conditions of building, adjacent retailers, okay. So all these are location characteristics and matter. If when these all factors are positive, they draw a lot of customers into that area, and your store also will be benefited. Then costs, like a rental fee, if the, okay, site or store is taken on rental basis. Common area maintenance cost, for example, in case of a shopping center. Local taxes, if any, advertising and promotion fees, okay. Then length of the lease. So all these characteristics are evaluated one by one in detail, so that the retailer does not make any mistake in choosing a site. Okay, just recall. So if you want to buy a site to construct your home, so what you may do, so you will also go for multiple checks. So what is the area? So whether the area is peaceful, calm, okay. Then what are the neighboring houses? Are they good or not? Okay, you may try to gather some information also. Whether the site that you want to purchase, is it into any court case, okay. Whether the owner who is selling it is genuine and authentic. Same way, but here it is more of market feasibility. So whether the store will be easily accessible by the customers, whether the area draws a lot of customers, and whether the customers reside in that area or visit that store if they open in that area. So these are the site characteristics which are evaluated by a retailer. Then trade area definition, okay. After the characteristics of site, the characteristics of the trading area means the area surrounding the is also evaluated for certain factors. A contiguous geographic area that accounts for the majority of a store's sales and customers. Okay, so I keep referring it to as a catchment area or surrounding area. So there are 3 zones are created. Okay, not every retailer, but generally companies like Walmart definitely consider this kind of a practice. So they divide the zones, or they make 3 zones or 3 circles. Okay, so 60 to 65% of the customers will come from its primary zone, and up to 20% of the store sales will come from the customers in secondary zone, the second layer. And tertiary zone, customers who occasionally shop at the store or shopping center. Okay, say for example, the 1 kilometer radius or 2 kilometer radius surrounding a particular store can be considered as primary zone. Okay, so the customers who live in the primary zone or within the area of 2 kilometer radius account for 60 to 65% of its customers for a supermarket in India, for example I am saying. Then another 20% of the sales come from secondary zone, the neighboring areas, okay, of the primary zone, the neighboring residential areas of the primary zone. Sometimes even they walk into this zone and buy some goods. Say for example, as I said, the Saptapur Mode store, so my home comes into primary zone. So definitely, though I buy most of the times from Saptapur Mode store, sometimes the products that which I don't get, for those products I go to Reliance Fresh. Okay, so for Reliance Fresh is far away from my home, so for Reliance Fresh, if it has to consider, I am the customer from secondary zone, but I don't visit regularly, sometimes I visit. In tertiary zone, customers who occasionally shop at the store or shop center. Say for example, if I consider a big bazaar, store in Hubballi, definitely customers from Dharwad do visit Big Bazaar and purchase. But these customers who go to Big Bazaar from Dharwad, so for Big Bazaar these customers from Dharwad are considered as customers from tertiary zone, customers who occasionally shop, not regularly. Okay. So this is the trade area definition. So this is how, dear students, it is very important for a retailer that they carefully evaluate the site and the surrounding area or trade area of the store, so that they don't make a mistake, because as I considered, 60 to 65% of the sales come from primary zone and about 20% of the sales come from secondary zone. So put together primary and secondary, 80 to 85% of the sales come from the surrounding area. So if you open your store in a wrong location, okay, you can imagine the situation. There will not be sufficient customers and you will be forced to close the store. There are many examples for that as well. Okay. So I think this I have already considered. So trade area of more supermarket at Saptapur. So surrounding this is Hadiyar Road. If you can see this part, this is whole. It starts from Kalabhavan, Dharwad. Okay, it passes through Karnataka Law College and Karnataka College, Dharwad. Okay. Then it comes to Saptapur Mode store, and then it goes towards Jayanagar, then CD Nagar, Srinagar, Nehru Nagar, and so on. Okay. So the Saptapur Mode store is located here in this location, and you can consider it as. So this is, for example, this is the primary area, this is the secondary area. So this way circles can be drawn. They are all on a computer. Then factors affecting the size of the trade area. Okay, trade area, again I repeat, the area surrounding the site of the store. That is from where 80 to 85% of the sales comes from a store. So that is the reason why the trade area has to be carefully evaluated. So what are those factors that affect the size when I say demand, market demand or market size of the trade area? So what are those factors that affect? So these are the factors that are carefully evaluated by the retailer about the surrounding area of the store. Before opening up, please remember all these decisions are done, or evaluation is done before opening a store in First thing is accessibility, whether the target customer can easily reach out to the store. That is the first criteria. The natural and physical barriers, if any. Natural and physical barriers, if any. Okay. Given something like a divider on the road, if there is a double road and there is a divider, okay, and definitely the customers from you, if your store is on the left hand side, the customers from right hand side will not be able to come to the left hand side with their vehicles. Type of shopping area, okay, the nature of merchandise, assortment, location of alternative sources for the merchandise. Say for example, if more supermarket in Saptapur, which is located in inner city location, surrounded by households, if they sell fruits and vegetables, so what is the alternative source for the customer to buy fruits and vegetables? Okay, so definitely we may say it is a CBD, Central Business District, or traditional market area. But believe me, now if you consider Srinagar, from where I go to Saptapur more store, okay, so before I reach, just in Srinagar, okay, about 100 meters from my home, okay, there is a huge vegetable market has started, okay, beside the road itself, but they all come from villages, surrounding villages. And next to it, another 50 meters, there is one more large vegetable vendor. Okay, then again with 1 kilometer distance, half a kilometer distance, okay, we have one more vegetable vendor. Another half a kilometer, there are a couple of more vegetable vendors. Before you reach out to more supermarket to buy vegetables, you will cross 4 vegetable stores or small vegetable markets. That is what we are talking. This also leads to competition for a particular category. So these are factors, okay, the store needs to consider about the area surrounding the site. Okay, so how do these retailers estimate the potential sales for a store site? Say for example, as I mentioned, companies consider alternative sites. Site number 1, for example, Saptapur. Site number 2, for example, CB Nagar. Site number 3, for example, Srinagar. Say for example, there are 3 alternatives. So they evaluate or estimate. If I open a store in Saptapur, if I open a store instead of Saptapur in CB Nagar, or instead of both, if I open a store in Srinagar. So for each site, the company estimates the potential sales. So definitely they choose that site, okay, where the sales estimations are highest. So how? Before opening a store itself, the company evaluates or estimates the sales potential. So how they do it? There are 3 methods considered here. Here only, no numericals. So one is Hub's model, another is analog model, and third is regression analysis. Sorry, there is an extra spelling mistake. So regression analysis, which we are going to consider in next class. Okay. So and also there is lot of news, okay, about the field of retailing. Okay. So first I will take attendance if time permits. So I will discuss little bit of news today, but in next class it will be a lot of discussion on news. Okay. There is something big happening in the Indian retail scale. Okay. And being retailing management students, being my students, okay, should not be unaware of what is happening. Okay, so I will stop screen sharing now. Aditya, absent. Akshata, absent.
Present, sir.
Sorry, present. Then Akshay Pujari,
Present, sir.
Akshay Koradkeri, Akshay Koradkeri, absent. Then Ankita,
Present, sir.
Anusha,
Present, sir.
Apeksha,
Present, sir.
Ashutosh,
Present, sir.
Prasad,
Yes, sir.
Supriya,
Present, sir.
Divya, Divya is absent. Gautam,
Present, sir.
present. Gururaj, Gururaj is absent.
Present, sir.
Present. Okay. Then Hanumantarai, Hanumantarai, Bhimaya, absent. Kallaya,
Present, sir.
Karthik, Karthik, Karthik is absent. Manjur, yeah,
Yes, sir.
Manjur present. Manoj,
Yes, sir.
Meghna Kalburgi,
Present, sir.
Meghna Lokhande,
Present, sir.
Nandan,
Present, sir.
Nikita, Nikita is absent.
Sir, she was there, sir.
She was there. Present.
She was there, sir.
Yes, she is present.
Yeah.
Mark present. Thank you. Pradeep, Pradeep, absent. Pramod, absent. Pranjali,
Present, sir.
Sir, Nikita present, sir.
yeah, Nikita is marked present. Prashant,
Thank you, sir.
Prashant is there?
Present, sir.
Yes.
Present, sir.
Yes, Prashant present. Prema, Prema, she was there in the beginning. Okay. Rahul,
Present, sir.
Ram,
Present, sir.
Ram, Ram is absent. Rohit, Rohit,
Yes, sir.
Varsha,
Yes, sir.
Present, sir.
Samuel is present. Sharon is present. And Shruti,
Present, sir. Present, sir.
yes, present. Shweta, Snehal,
Present, sir.
Sudarshan, Sudarshan, absent. Sudha,
Present, sir.
Suman, Suman is absent. Then Vishal, Vishal is absent. Then Nishad, Nishad is there. Okay, absent. Yes. Okay. So, what are the two big news? I will not discuss. Just will read the headlines. Okay. We will discuss it in the next class. Okay.
There is a breaking news about the Amazon and the futures.
Excellent. Okay. Definitely. So can you see the screen, Ashutosh? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir. Now we can see, sir.
Okay. So Amazon Reliance Industries Limited, RIL full form is Reliance Industries Limited. Remember, Amazon Reliance Industries Limited clash spooks investors, markets tumble, Sensex Slides 540 points, Reliance Industries Tanks 3.9%. Okay, one simple aspect also you can notice how much the stock market is sensitive. So there is just some problem between Amazon and Reliance Industries Limited. Okay, the markets are tumbled. Sensex, Bombay Stock Exchange, has lost 540 points. Okay, and Reliance Industries Tanks means its market valuation also decreases by 3.9%. Okay, so future group shares also lose 10%. So this is one news. And second is the future means future group or future retail. So future may battle stay in Delhi High Court. Okay. So both parties could end up at Indian courts to enforce or challenge the interim stay on the merger between Reliance Industries Limited and Future Group, okay, which is objected by Amazon. Okay, so I said it is something important. Okay, so if you check the previous news, Bombay Stock Exchange has lost 540 points, as well as Reliance Industries Limited shares, okay, have share value decreased by 3.9%, and Future Group's shares have decreased by 10%. So it is so huge. Okay, the impact is so huge. Means the matter is also very serious, and it's about retail business. Okay, so that Reliance Industries Limited acquired Future Retail. Okay, we considered that news, if you can recall, for some 24,000 crore, right? And already Amazon had some investment in Future Retail, and as per that terms and conditions, Future Retail should consider Amazon as the priority if it wants to sell any stake, but they did not consider or informed Amazon, and they entered into a deal with Reliance Industries Limited. That is the reason why Amazon wants to bring a stake on this. So this news we will discuss in detail in the next class. So I request on the students, I will share this news in the WhatsApp group. So please read the news carefully and come for a discussion in the next class. And if you don't want to discuss, please do not discuss, but do not remain absent. Okay, you can listen to the discussion of others. Okay, so thank you everyone. So it's 10:55. I think I should end the class. So good day to all.
Thank
of
you, sir.
Yeah, good day to all of you. See you in next class. Okay, HR students today at 3:30.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. And
Thank you, sir.
before you log out, please stay back. One important information I would like to share. Okay, I have been trying to arrange for guest lecture, academic guest lecture from SDM Institute for Management Development. SDM IMT, which is the premier institute in the country, belongs to SDM Society. Okay, so next Tuesday at 10 o'clock there will be a guest lecture. Okay, academic guest lecture in the retailing management subject. Same time, next Tuesday, November 3rd, 10 a.m. Okay, so I will share all the details, poster and information in the WhatsApp group. So I am communicating you directly now. So I hope you heard me, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please be ready for that. Huh? Yeah, thank you, everyone. Okay, good day to all of you. I'm going to end the meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.